Hi all, and welcome back to Let's Play Megaman Zero 2. We've sabotaged New Arcadia, saved the Resistance base from outright destruction, and defeated the Guardians on 2 separate occasions, yet we've continuously failed to actually recapture our commander. Well, it's endgame and this is going to be our last shot at it. In the last game, before going on the final mission, we got more of a heartfelt goodbye from CL and a promise to come back, but this time it's more business as usual. I'll be seeing you there. Whereas last time around we got a giant space tower for a final level, this time we're gonna have to settle for a giant tree in a tower. It's called Yggdrasil, and as you can see out the left side of this place here, it's still plenty tall. It's named after the tree from Norse mythology, and honestly it's rather interesting that a character actually referenced it earlier in the game. Ihondela, the Resistance lookout, at one point tells you that Neo Arcadia has a giant tree in its center, hiding something important behind its roots. This is interesting that nowhere else in the game does it really mention this area, and you don't even get its name, so unless you're looking at supplemental materials, you'll just think that it's a normal, final area filled to the brim with the expected boss rush sections. I really don't think I have to explain this to you, but Mega Man games have a thing for refighting bosses in the last stage, so I'll be cutting out for some rematches. Music playing there was from the GBA version of Bionicle Heroes. Now this appearance of the boss gauntlet is actually kind of unique. Usually in Mega Man games you get a single room with 8 boss rematches, or else have them spread throughout an entire stage. But in this version you get 2 groupings of 3, and I'm pretty sure it's the only time it happens in the series. Now the blaming for this is primarily on the Guardians, whose boss fights made up a good chunk of the game. See, we've already beaten their faces in twice, and I kinda figure Integrates decided enough was enough and just left them out. I think this was a good decision, but it also makes the stage noticeably shorter than some other final stages. Textures on Yggdrasil get a little lighter the further up you go, and further up you will go because the stage is primarily vertical. It has a lot of ladders and they're all kind of oddly designed. It's very distinctive. Music playing is called Silver Wolf, and I kinda figure it's probably a reference to some other bit of Norse mythology, like say Fenrir, but honestly I'm not sure. It's really good though. Bet you weren't expecting this. Yes, Zero 2's boss gauntlet actually introduces an entirely new boss. This is a stroke of absolute genius and one of the best things about the game. The fight's a double boss battle against the Ankus brothers, Hercules and Kuagust, and they are really big on the cooperation. They'll try to attack you simultaneously, as well as using attacks from their respective boss battles, and use a devilish EX skill which I've titled Brotherly Bond. This thing requires you to jump at a very specific time and attack at a very specific time, and it's really not at all as easy as it's looking there. This boss fight is a little difficult because all of their attacks are hard to dodge, but it's also easy in that they follow a very distinctive pattern, and that they both have a shared health bar but separate invincibility frames, which means you can just alternate attacking from one to another. Another really cool thing, when you kill them, they use a suicide strike much like Phantom did in the first game. That can and will kill you if you get hit while at low health, so watch out for it. It's a very unique boss battle and a really cool addition to what otherwise would be a kind of bland, shorter than normal boss gauntlet. The third section of Yggdrasil is even wider than before. In case you were wondering, to the right is an area you can really only access with a chain rod, and it just has one up in it, so, not really worth it. And again with the ladders, Yggdrasil really does have a thing for ladders that I've never really understood. I mean, we do have a wall jump, Also, for the record, I've been using the Rise form because the third slash kinda wrecks some of those boss rematches. Beyond that, though, Yggdrasil really isn't all that interesting. There's only a few enemies like Sakura spiders and various pantheons. And, it's a stage. This section is looking a little ominous, though, so I think I am going to switch back to our default red. We haven't seen this since the beginning of the game, and I figure we should probably finish like we began. Let's go. The destruction of X's original body is one of the most significant things to come out of the Zero games, and marks the true end of the X series, even though Capcom is likely never going to give those games a proper ending. For the record, I've always assumed that sword Elpizo used to pierce X was the key to unlock the seal of the Dark Elf that he got in the Forest of Notice. What's supposed to be happening here is that the Dark Elf was partially unsealed, but not fully, so each half only has half of the frame rates, and it's going to merge and get a full proper frame rate here. So it'll probably stop being invisible right around this point. Elpizo's transformation into his battle form is hands down the best scene in the game, and his battle theme, Supreme Ruler, is absolutely amazing. It incorporates bits of his main theme, Combustion, and it's just absolutely amazing, and I love it. As for the boss fight, it is equally amazing. Elpizo fights on a level almost equal to Zero, dashing all around the stage using extreme high speed and long-range attacks, and using attacks that will actually drain your health after traveling around you for a little bit, and allowing you to go oh shit before actually getting hit. This is his EX skill, it's called Grand Burst, and as you saw there, it is very visually impressive. You can usually avoid it just by getting away from it, but it just looks so good that I really have no problem with it. All in all, Elpizo is a boss fight that I could fight all day, and I'm actually going to upload something along those lines so that you can get even more of him. Before that, though, it's not over yet. Remember all those good things I said about Elpizo's first form? Well, throw them all out the window because this guy sucks. That glowing core thing in his middle is supposed to be his head, and the yellow stuff above it is supposed to be his hair, but it really doesn't look anything like it, and he just kinda looks like a mess. As for the battle, he really doesn't do much of anything. This guy is almost completely immobile, and whenever you use a move, he'll just kinda sit there like a schmuck and let you beat him up. These things are supposed to be the baby elves, and he'll usually use them to attack instead of attacking you directly with a sweet beam rapier, which is a bit of a letdown, to say the least. And all in all, he's just not at all as interesting, and I'll go to my grave saying this guy should have come first, if at all. I mean, Elpizo's first form was just perfect. You felt like you were fighting an equal and stuff, but this just feels like you're fighting a giant monstrous thing with no real threat. That was his EX skill, it's called Cast Blazer, and again, it's kinda sucky. Not nearly as interesting as his first form's EX skill, and it just kinda shoots a bunch of gold stuff at you. Gold and green are his attack patterns. Other than shooting the baby elves at you, he'll use various summoning things to bring up gold platforms or green energy to attack you. But again, it's just not fun, and I've always had this opinion. It's a real letdown, and that was the final fight. It just leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. Oh well, the game itself is really good. That final boss, though, I just never approved of it. And there's our final score. Got 100 points throughout the entire game, and for beating the game, you unlock the proto form. Now, I've been doing a hard mode run alongside this, which we'll also be completing, so I don't really have to show this off, but I will be showing it off alongside another one in a supplemental part, so you can always look out for that. Before that, though, the ending. It's significantly higher quality than that boss fight we just endured, which is honestly probably the easiest final boss in the 4-0 games, and I'll be cutting out for it. Enjoy. And that, folks, is Megaman Zero 2. Ends at a bit of a cliffhanger, but you know what, I like it. It wraps up Elpizo's character really nicely, and gives you a bit of a taste for things to come. Zero 2 is a really solid game, and honestly it's probably better than the first game in every way. But I still don't think the series has peaked. For me, that's Zero 3. Still though, Zero 2 has an amazing soundtrack, great gameplay, interesting characters, and it's just overall fun. I'd recommend it to anyone. It only takes a couple hours to complete normally, so there's really no reason not to pick it up. Music playing here is called Awakening Will, and it is absolutely amazing. If there's any reason to ever watch a credit sequence, it's this song. The beginning is like a remix of the first stage theme, Departure. It's absolutely great. I'm gonna cut out here so you can listen to it and also, give some respect to the creators because, again, this is really good and these people are awesome. But I'll be coming back in near the end for a little bit of extra stuff. Still though, the LP is not quite over. There's going to be another part showing off multiplayer, don't get your hopes up, as well as some other things you can unlock. We'll be seeing you there. Even more sequel bait post-credits. Gotta go pre-order 03 like it's 2004. Anyway, for beating the game you'll unlock hard mode. Again, I've done a full playthrough of this, but the long and short of it is you can't level your weapons up, and everything, both you and your enemies, deal double damage. It's pretty sweet, and fun, and you should do it. Also, for beating the game, you get to save a save file. It'll reset you to the beginning of the game, but you'll keep all your cyber elves and effects that you've used, and you'll also get a nifty little number next to the file showing you how many times you've beaten it. Anyway, that's Zero 2. Thanks for watching, and this is Gam signing out.